Live.
The female monarch butterfly, filled with nectar from her flower visits this morning, has a maternal instinct come over her. As she flits through the field, she looks for a milkweed plant. Under its broad and progressive leaf, she will lay her egg for the next generation of monarch butterflies. She approaches, she goes underneath, and the egg is there. Now we'll wait.
Hello everybody, we're back. We're in the Milkweed Monarch Way Station Pollinator Meadow Patch. We've worked really hard on a choreography here. There you go. That was fun. Thank you for coming back, and I got to watch a little bit of the last segment that we did and comment to some of you who were on there leaving us comments, so thank you for tuning in. So we're in the meadow, and just a little history about this place. I have been trying to grow a pollinator meadow here for many years, and the problem was we never had enough sun here because we had this whole hillside with trees. If you want to pan the hillside, Jesse, and you can see we've got solar panels there now. Last year we installed solar panels, and we took down the trees off this hill, plus a massive oak tree that was behind us. And now this space gets full sun all day, which is great because a meadow really ideally needs a lot of sunshine. And it's not only important for the plants, but it's important for the butterflies because they only fly when it's warm. So they really like when it's very sunny. So that tells you a little bit about our space. I hope since the last segment you got to watch the reading of the book of the Adventures of Largo and Shelby and saw the story behind the story. Joanne should be on. Has she tuned in yet? The author, Joanne Randall.
Checking.
And hopefully she'll be on there. And if you have any comments or questions about the story, you can leave them for her. And I have a question, Joanne. I want to know what inspired you to put that story behind the story. I don't want to give it away because some people might not have read the book yet, but anyway, if you could comment on that, please do so. And then also, if anybody went out and looked for caterpillars or butterflies, if you saw anything, I'd love to hear what you saw. And maybe you don't know exactly what kind of butterfly it was, so maybe you could tell me what color it was. We could help you identify those. So as I told you, I'd be coming back in a new outfit. This is the Save the Monarchs Plant Milkweed t-shirt. And I just got this last year, and I love this one. As I mentioned earlier, and I'll just say it again and again, milkweed is the only plant that the monarch butterfly will lay her egg on, and that's why it's really important to grow milkweed. So we're going to talk about the 3 types that grow really well in New Hampshire. I have a few samples here. The common milkweed, I just picked this yesterday, and this is kind of what it looks like now. And when I say gnarly, this is just the beginning. It can get black and gray. It grows really tall. It can flop over. It's really not very attractive. The leaves are really big. This is, the scientific name is Asclepias. This is Asclepias syriaca, or common milkweed. The milkweed that I love to promote is the swamp milkweed. And people say, oh, I don't have a swamp, I can't grow it. You don't need a swamp, but you just need to make sure it stays wet. So this year I've watered mine a little bit more because it's been so dry here. You can see that the leaves are much smaller and finer. They're a little bit more succulent for the caterpillars. So when the caterpillars are on here, this is like filet mignon, and this is more like ground beef, okay? So they really like this stuff, and they eat it well. In the fall, it kind of turns more like a fall color, so it kind of has a little fall foliage color to it as well. This, I highly recommend, if you want to put this in a garden, by all means do that. The common milkweed I put out here more in the meadow, and this can go right in the back of your garden. It'll grow 4 to 5 feet tall. Beautiful flowers on them, beautiful pink flowers in the middle of the summer, and it looks really nice in the garden, so you don't have to worry about growing it. The other thing is it's not a thug. It is not going to take over your space like common milkweed does. Common milkweed has runners that go underground, and they run horizontally and send up another shoot, run horizontally, send up another shoot, so they can take over. This has a fibrous root system, so it just stays put where you plant it. The third one, which I don't have an actual plant of, I have little seedlings here, but Jesse, if you could zoom in on this picture here, this is Asclepias tuberosa, which is butterfly weed, this orange one right here. And it grows lower. You see it a lot in nurseries. It's very easy to pick up and purchase. So that is the third one that grows really well here. I didn't mention the scientific name of swamp milkweed, but it's Asclepias incarnata. Sometimes you see names, common names for it, like Cinderella, or I think there's one they call it indescribable or something like that. I don't know. They give them fancy names. So the important thing, if you want to grow milkweed, is how to start it from seed. And there's two ways to do it. The most important thing is the milkweed seed needs a cold treatment before you can plant the seed. So there's two ways to do that. The one that's a little more time consuming is you take a container, you put some sand in it, and Jesse, I'll let you zoom in on that, and you can see the little bits of seed that are in there. The other thing you can do is take a paper towel, dampen it, not wet, but damp, and you can put the seed in between 2 layers of paper towel. Then it goes in your refrigerator for about 30 days. And that would be, you would do that around January or February. And then you would take it out and plant it like you would any other seedlings. So you've got to start it in a tray of soil. When they get a little bigger, you transplant them, and eventually you put them out in your garden in the spring. And that's a lot of steps. There's a much easier way. The cold treatment, oh, I have a bee who's come to see me. Hello, baby. A little bumble. Hey, baby. There you go, bye-bye. The other way that you can do it is let winter be your cold treatment. And you simply take the seeds, and right before the ground freezes, which here in New Hampshire would be around the end of October, you scratch up the soil, you lay the seeds down there, just sprinkle them out, just tap a little bit of soil over it, and just leave them there. And winter is the cold treatment. So I did that last year with some swamp milkweed, and I ended up with 65 plants this year, so I have a lot. And they germinated really well, so it's very easy to do. The key is to mark where you put those seedlings and watch for them to come up. And once they start to come up, you dig them up, move them about a foot apart, make sure you keep watering them. And this year, I've been watering all summer long, and that will establish them. If the little seedlings get eaten, like I actually had caterpillars on the little teeny tiny seedlings. Butterflies were coming in and laying eggs on those little tiny seedlings, and they would eat all the leaves because there weren't that many. Don't worry, because they will grow back. As long as the root system is strong, they'll grow back. This, if you can come in close, Jesse, hope you can see this. These are the seed pods from the swamp milkweed plant. What you are looking for if you want to collect seed is you wait until they turn gray and open up, and you can see the brown seeds in there. These pods aren't ready yet, the green ones, so you can't force them. You kind of got to let nature do its thing, and then you can collect the seeds and plant them. This is the common milkweed, which we're used to seeing, and this one's getting ready to pop open and spread its seeds around. All right. I want to show you a couple plantings if you come this way. Oh, and we have Cat in the garden. Make sure to get Cat in the garden. That's our little guy, Dill. He wants to be part. These two plants right here are some of those seedlings that I planted that came up this May. And I planted them about a foot apart. And I've had several caterpillars on here, so several of the leaves are gone. If we move over here to the right, Jesse, we're going to see the chrysalis. We had a family here the other day, and a mom was over here with her camera. I'll put my hand behind it so you can see it. She saw a monarch caterpillar over here, and what it did was it came over here. It's about probably 3 or 4 feet from that milkweed plant, maybe 4 feet, and it formed its chrysalis here. So I put this tag on it so I can find it very easily when I come back to the gardens. All right, a couple important things about growing them. You do not need great soil. This we've done nothing to enhance the soil here. We have not added compost. We've not added fertilizer. These plants are native, so they are used to growing in New England, and they will grow just about anywhere. Like I said, you want to make sure that you keep them watered. There are some pests that will damage the milkweed plants. Jesse, if we zoom in on here, these two pictures here show the tussock moth caterpillar. This is a moth, not a butterfly. Same colors as the monarch caterpillar, but it's a totally different species. And they use the milkweed as their host plant as well. So you will see them oftentimes on milkweed. Now here's the unusual thing. We have seen none of them this year, which is really very strange. So something's up with that species this year. Oftentimes you might see aphids on the milkweed. I see them more often on the common milkweed. You can take care of them by taking your hose and blasting it with a jet spray and try to spray them off. Ladybugs will also eat them as well. There are a few milkweed beetles too. Here is one of the milkweed beetles that you'll see. They're red and black. That's one. And I'm going to flip the page here so we can see the other guy. This is the milkweed longhorn beetle. And so they also will eat the milkweed plant. All right. Now the next thing that's really important, right now these monarchs that are flying around are looking for nectar. They get that from the flowers. And guess what? The milkweed's not blooming anymore. It bloomed in June and July and early August. So we need flowers for them to get their drinks. I have in this bucket right here a few plants that are really good for nectar this time of year. The purple coneflower is a very good example. But I want to caution you on the coneflower. Can you see that really well, Jess? This one here, and there's the flower, okay? There are about 100 cultivars of coneflower, which means they've been bred for different colors, for different looks. They've made them more showy. And some of those coneflowers have no nectar available for the butterflies. So I'm not saying don't grow them. I'm just saying don't grow them and think they're going to feed the butterflies. You can have them, but make sure that you have some of these other plants available as well. We have the Mexican sunflower here, which is an annual. The hummingbirds like this one too, so this will attract hummingbirds to your yard. We've got ironweed, which grows very, very tall, and once you have it, you'll have it forever because the birds drop the seeds everywhere and it grows all over the place. Come on down here and let's look at some of the plants that we have growing alongside the milkweed. We have goldenrod, the yellow plant over here. Zoom in on the purple plant in the back, Jesse. That's bergamot. That is Monarda fistulosa. Look at all the bees on there. And the butterflies will come in. We've had fritillaries all over this plant in the last several days. We've got some anise hyssop down here, the purple flower. And there are lots of wild asters growing all around. That's actually the plant that chrysalis is on over there, is the aster. So you do want to make sure you have plenty of nectar flowers. If you want to grow an annual with kids, one that's super easy is the zinnia. So if you can grow the big zinnias, that would be great. Looks like we have a question.
Yes. Kathy Hiller asks, can milkweed plants winter over in a container?
Can milkweed plants winter over in a container? I believe they can because I had seeded some and had them in a tray, and I left them outside all winter and they came back. So I think they can. I would just put them in a, maybe like an area close to the house where it's kind of warm. Maybe pack some leaves around it or something like that to give it a little cushion, you know, from the cold temperatures. But they are perennial, so yes, they should come back.
And I had asked if anybody had seen the tussock moths wherever they're watching from. And Sharon Huntington said she's in Webster. She said, yes, I saw a few on my common milkweed.
Okay. I think I saw one this year, which is really unusual because when the moth lays the eggs, unlike the monarch, the monarch lays one egg here and one egg there. The tussock moth lays a mass of them. So when they hatch, there's usually a lot. I want to talk a little bit about how to maintain a meadow. And Jesse, I don't know if you can, if we'll just stand back a little bit maybe, and you can just pan around and show the whole meadow area here. I would say at the widest part, I don't know, it's probably about 30 feet wide. and we're probably about 100 feet in length here. And basically what I have done is just let everything grow wild. What do you see there, Jim?
More meadow.
More meadow. Okay, and I'll get out of your way here. And all I've been doing here is mowing a path through it and letting everything grow up around it. And I've been adding in, is that too sunny that way?
No, you're fine.
And I've been adding in plants as I go. Back when the cameraman was a little kid, this was the yard that the kids played in. I mowed this whole space every week. We had a sandbox out here. We had a little kiddie pool, and this was the yard that the kids played in. But at a point, I stopped mowing it, and what did we get? All these plants. We've got the goldenrods, the asters have come in. We have had a few invasive things come in that we've had to pull out. But a lot of the native plants are just growing back, and we are having so much pollinator activity in this area. The way I plan to mow this in the future, because anytime you go in and mow, I am probably going to mow up eggs, caterpillars, chrysalis, maybe butterflies that are sleeping on a flower, and you know that's going to happen. So this is how we do our mowing. You want to switch? Should we switch so you're not looking into the sun? The way I'm going to mow is I will, late October, after a lot of pupation and everything has happened, I'm going to mow 1/3 of this meadow. Next spring, as things start to come up a little bit, I'm going to mow the other third, and next fall I'll mow the other third. And that way, even though I'm taking out some life, I'm not taking out all of it. And I will just keep that rotation going. The reason why you want to mow is because if I were just to let this come back every year, I have oak tree seedlings coming in here like you would not believe. There's probably, in one little patch over there, there's probably about 30 trees trying to grow, and there's no room for 30 oak trees in that little space. So if you were to let a meadow go, you're going to get the woods back. This is what'll come back down the road. So that's how we plan to manage the area. Jesse, you can take a walk over and we'll show them the Monarch Way Station sign. We are registered as a Monarch Way Station with Monarch Watch, and basically to have a Monarch Way Station, and Dill's going to come in the picture here and let you know. Hi Dill. You need a space that's 10 foot by 10 foot, 100 square feet. It doesn't have to be all in one spot. You could have a couple little beds. You want to have at least 10 milkweed plants, and you want to have nectar plants. And all the instructions, there's a link on the website on how to grow a Monarch Way Station. So you can check that out. I noticed Sharon Rask-Cunnington is on the chat, and her book, Mirabelle's Metamorphosis, is the book that we're suggesting at this time for you to go check out before our next session. This is Sharon's first book. She's a photographer, so it's all photographed pictures of the life cycle of the monarch. So I want you to check that out and then come back for the next session if you have any questions or comments for her. Do we have any comments or questions for Joanne, and has she piped in yet?
I have a question from Robin Ann, who asks, will the butterflies that, is it pronounced eclose now stick around, or will they fly away south immediately?
Yeah. So the question is, will they, when they hatch, will they stick around or fly immediately? They usually stick around for a little bit to fuel up, and really it's the weather that triggers them to head south. So I think we're coming into some cooler weather, and that's going to be their trigger to start heading south. So they shouldn't stick around too long. It always happens, though, that there are caterpillars that turn into chrysalis that hatch late. And they will hatch late in September, sometimes even early October, and they're not going anywhere because by then it's too cold and they just really can't fly. Do you have another question?
Nope, we answered that one.
Let's head this way. I want to show you a few things. I really want people to grow a lot of milkweed, so we are providing free packets of the swamp milkweed seed with instructions. The instructions I just explained to you are all written out, and we have these in our farm stand, and they're free. We'd like 1 packet per family, please. And there's got to be at least 25 seeds in each one. So it'll give you a good start to establish the swamp milkweed, the pretty milkweed in your garden. We also have a couple of monarch-related products in our farm stand. Jesse, I'm going to have you zoom in down there. I've been making bird baths for years. They're imprints of rhubarb leaves, but the last couple of years I started painting them to look like a monarch butterfly. So we have a few of these for sale in our farm stand. We also have, I've been doing the hosta leaf here as a hanger. So this is something you can hang on your door or hang by your door. It's our monarch leaf hanger. So those are available in our farm stand. Also, if you could show the bouquet, Jess, I just picked that yesterday. We are still doing pick your own flowers here in our pick your own field. And you can come on out and get a bucket and scissors off the porch and pick away. I want to give you a couple links to check out on the website. If you go to the Monarch Festival page, all about growing. Number 1 is all about growing milkweed. There's a really good link there. If you want to establish a meadow, University of New Hampshire has done a ton of research on that. And the link is going to lead you to a page with like 8 more links. So everything you need to know about growing a meadow is there, and it's all from New Hampshire. Pollinator Pathways, that one is out of Connecticut, but boy oh boy do they have great links from their page. If you're looking for plants that will grow in your region, you just click on all these different pages, Xerxes Society and so on, and you can get all kinds of plant lists. Also, if you want to learn about what you need to do to grow a monarch way station or a garden butterfly habitat at a schoolyard, you can go there. Looks like we have a question.
Yes, this one's from Sophie Haddock down in Rhode Island.
Sophie Haddock, yes.
She asks, do you think global warming will change the migration times?
Oh, I think it already has. She wants to know if global warming will change the migration times, and I think it has, part of because what we said in the last session, it was so warm last year that the butterflies just hung out and didn't leave, and then it got cold late. And I think all these strange weather patterns that we're having is definitely a result of climate change. So definitely that is part of it, for sure. Really good question. I also want to mention on the website that we have lots of monarch and pollinator organizations. You can check those out. And locally, check out New Hampshire Audubon. I know for sure that Concord Audubon has a great pollinator meadow there with samples of all different types of plants and milkweed, so you can check that out. If you want to buy native plants in New Hampshire, there are 3 sources that I know of. One is Bagley Pond up in Warner. They have a sale that ends today, so make sure to follow that link if you want to buy from them. Also, Pemmy Native Plants in Plymouth. We have an email link for the folks there. And Foundwell Farm down in Pembroke, and she's only open 1 weekend in the fall, and it's next weekend, and you're probably going to see me there if you go, because I want to go get some more native plants. Sorry, honey, but I'm going to buy more native plants next weekend. I don't buy shoes and clothes, I buy native plants. Anyway, the links to all of those places are there. Continue to send us your emails, questions on chat or via email at donna@petalsinthepines.com. Again, if you like the work we're doing and you want to help us support other organizations, we are accepting donations, and the link is on our homepage and at the Monarch Festival page as well. So I have a kid activity for between now and the next session. If you have milkweed in your yard, go check it out and see how the milkweed pods are doing. Are they cracking open? Are they still green? If they're cracking open, you can pick them and you can save the seed and plant some right away. If you go to the under activities for kids on my website page, click on the Monarch Joint Venture, I think it's the very first one, website, and then go down to education on the left, and they have an activity for how to make seed balls. And we've done seed balls here for years during our actual Monarch Festival. So if you want to learn how to make them, you can go check that out. You also want to make sure to listen to Maribel's Metamorphosis by Sharon. And in the next session, we will be talking about the life cycle of the monarch butterfly. And I hope to tag. I'm going to go out with a net right after we get off of this and see if I can find a butterfly to tag. And we have a neighbor who might be bringing one by. So I'm hoping for 1 o'clock to tag, and I will have a new t-shirt on. So thanks for joining us. Any last comments or questions? We're good to go. See you at 1 o'clock.